Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. The story begins with a brutal war, a war so devastating that it claimed the lives of countless sword wielders. It was known as the Great War between the righteous and the demonic factions. No one could have imagined that this nightmare would drag on for 13 long years. It was an endless hell. A battlefield drenched in blood and tears, where every sunrise brought more death. And every scream echoed across the land as countless warriors met their end. Then, without warning, a sudden truce brought the endless bloodshed to a halt. 20 years have passed since the war finally ended. Yet the greatest mystery still remains unanswered. How was the truce achieved? To this very day, no one knows. The disciples of both the righteous and demonic factions have remained completely silent, as though bound by an unspoken agreement to never reveal the truth. Time continued to move forward. New powers rose throughout Jianghu. While once glorious clans slowly faded into obscurity, their strength shattered by the scars of war. Slash. Swish. Why? Just why can't I break through to the 7-star level? The story then introduces a beautiful thick swordswoman named Cherian Zhong, the second daughter of the prestigious righteous sword clan. Frustrated by her lack of progress, she clenches her sword tightly and mutters to herself, "I have to master the scarlet thread sword technique, no matter what it takes. Only then can I restore my clan to its former glory." The scarlet thread sword technique. A legendary sword art that has been passed down through generations within the righteous sword clan. A technique that symbolizes the pride, legacy, and honor of the entire family. Clack. Sigh. She lets out a deep breath and quietly murmurs to herself, "No matter how hard I train, I just don't see any improvement. Why can't I get any stronger?" Just then, a familiar voice calls out, "Cherian." She turns around and immediately smiles. "Oh. Hello, big sister. Brother-in-law." The story now introduces two important characters. The first is Baek Seo, Warian's husband. And the second is Warian Zhong, the eldest daughter of the prestigious righteous sword clan. Baek Seo looks at Cherian and asks, "What brings you to the training grounds today?" Before Cherian can answer, Warian speaks up. "The center of Palm clan sent a messenger. Young hero Zhang wants you to enter the Dragon and Phoenix tournament with him." The moment she hears those words, Cherian's eyes widen in disbelief. What? There are two of the largest and most prestigious martial arts tournaments in the Central Plains. The first is a deadly competition where warriors fight for the honor of their sects and for personal glory. The greatest martial arts tournament in the world. The Heavenly Dragon Tournament. The second is a mixed pairs competition created to showcase the next generation of martial artists. The Dragon and Phoenix Tournament. And this year, both tournaments are being held right here in Hubal. Cherian clenches her fists in frustration. Fighting in pairs is childish enough, but teaming up with that shameless pervert, Injial Zhang? No, absolutely not. She glares at her sister and shouts, "I'd rather die than get mixed up with that creep." Trying to ease the tension, Baek Seo quickly steps in. "Please, don't fight." Warian sighs before replying, "Will you calm down and just listen to me? You've always said you wanted to restore honor to our family's name. Winning the Dragon and Phoenix tournament could be the opportunity you've been waiting for. Besides, you really don't want to make an enemy of the center of Palm." But before she can finish, Cherian explodes in anger. "I already said I'm not doing it. If it's really that important, then why don't you just lie about your age and enter the tournament yourself?" Without waiting for a response, she storms away in frustration. Watching her leave, Warian lets out a helpless sigh. Baek Seo chuckles awkwardly before saying, "She really has a temper. Just like you, dear." The story then shifts to a lively marketplace. Merchants line the busy streets as customers crowd around colorful stalls. Fresh goods. Fresh goods here. Come take a look. 5 Dragon Well Tea. Special sale today. Amid the bustling crowd, 2 townspeople chat quietly. Did you hear? The head of the Merchant Alliance lost another finger. The other man smirks. Sounds like someone's finally giving him the punishment he deserves. Meanwhile, Cherian walks silently behind them. Her shoulders droop. Her footsteps are slow and heavy. As if the weight of the entire world is resting on them. She lowers her head and quietly mutters to herself. What if the center of Palm Clan starts harassing my family because of me? Her expression fills with worry as uncertainty begins to cloud her mind. I hate how influential families think they can get away with anything. Just then. Slam. A deafening crash echoes through the middle of the bustling marketplace. A furious man grabs another by the collar and roars. You filthy thief. That's not what we agreed to. The other man scoffs without the slightest hint of fear. What? You'd better take those words back, if you value your life. The 2 continue barking at each other, each trying to outshout the other. Meanwhile, the nearby crowd quietly begins backing away. Not because they were scared. Well, actually, yes, they were very scared. Nobody wanted to become today's collateral damage. In this world, deceit and betrayal run rampant. Not far away, a plump, suspicious-looking man is having a quiet conversation with the same troublemaker from earlier. The nervous man bows respectfully and says, "If you could exert just a little of your influence, sir." The fat, corrupt-looking official flashes a smug grin. You have nothing to worry about. Just make sure you follow through with what we discussed. Nothing suspicious about that. Just your average completely not corrupt business meeting in broad daylight. And in today's Jianghu, scheming, bribery, and corruption have become the norm. As if things couldn't get any worse. A terrified voice suddenly pierces through the crowd. My purse. My purse is gone. Looks like someone's wallet just started its own martial arts journey. Before anyone can react, another argument erupts from the opposite side of the street. Take your hand off your sword, scoundrel. Do you even know who you're talking to? At this point, this marketplace has more drama than 100 martial arts clans combined. Seriously. People came here to buy vegetables. Instead, they're getting front row seats to Jianghu's Got Problems. And right on cue, our main character finally makes his entrance. He slowly walks through the crowded streets, taking in the endless chaos unfolding before his eyes. Then, with a completely bewildered expression, he quietly says, "So, this is the Jianghu I've always dreamed of." Poor guy. He probably imagined legendary swordsmen, honorable heroes, and wise martial arts masters. Instead, he found angry merchants, corrupt officials, missing purses, and enough public arguments to last a lifetime. Talk about false advertising. Meanwhile, Cherian hears the shouting behind her. She slowly turns toward the commotion. Lets out a long, exhausted sigh. And mutters under her breath. Curse you. Leader of the Murim. Honestly. At this point, if she blamed him for the weather too, nobody would question it. And right in the middle of the cheering crowd, one random guy completely ignores the mood and starts crying his heart out. You foiled my lifelong dream of unifying the demonic sect. The Qianma has fallen. Buddy, read the room. Meanwhile, the cameraman dramatically shifts his focus toward the leader of Murim. And so, the 13-year-long war has finally come to an end. The crowd erupts into thunderous cheers. Long live the leader of Murim. People celebrate like the world's biggest festival has just started. But not everyone is buying the performance. Our beautiful Cherian watches the play with an unimpressed expression before letting out a sigh. Oh, come on. I get that it's just a play, but no one actually knows how the great righteous and demonic war truly ended. Suddenly, a calm voice speaks from behind her. My thoughts exactly. Cherian freezes before quickly turning around in surprise. Standing behind her is our MC. Looking way too cool for someone who just appeared out of nowhere. With a calm expression, he says. The Kianma's 9 Calamities demon art was said to be invincible. He couldn't have been defeated in a one-on-one battle. The cameraman slowly zooms in from the left like he's filming the final boss introduction. Our MC continues. And the Great War certainly didn't end in such a pathetic fashion. Cherian stares at him for a moment. Then thinks to herself. Okay, who is this weirdo? Meanwhile, our completely unfazed MC changes the topic so fast it should honestly be considered a martial art. I'm thirsty. Would you join me for a drink? Maybe you could show me a good tavern. It's my first time in Wuhan. Cherian's eyes narrow. So, he's a womanizer with an innocent baby face, huh? Without missing a beat, she replies. A martial artist should conduct himself with a little more dignity, don't you think? She turns around gracefully. Now, if you'll excuse me. I have business to attend to. As she begins walking away, our boy asks one unexpected question. Do you believe that Jianghu is still worth something? Her footsteps stop. She slowly turns back. Huh? What do you mean? Our MC's expression remains calm. It abandoned the principles of justice and loyalty long ago. What rules it now, is nothing more than appearances and empty prestige. Looking directly at his future waifu, he says. It's pathetic, don't you think? Cherian's expression hardens. Her hand slowly grips the hilt of her sword. Inside her head, she's already arguing with herself. Stay calm. Don't punch the handsome idiot. Taking a deep breath, she finally answers. And yet. You're still a part of it. Her voice is calm. Almost mocking. Then she turns away once again. As she walks off, she says. Jianghu may not be what it once was. But it hasn't fallen so far that people can slander it so casually. Oof. Our boy really chose philosophy as his opening line instead of introducing himself. Bold strategy. Our boy watches Cherian walk away. A faint smile appears on his face. Not the smile of someone who won an argument. More like someone who just found a person interesting enough to remember. Without another word, the two quietly continue down their own separate paths. For now. The scene then shifts to the bustling Wyong Inn. The moment we step inside, the place is absolute chaos. Plates clatter. Cups slam onto tables. Waiters weave through the crowd like they're practicing a high-level movement technique. The aroma of hot food fills the air. And somehow, despite all the noise, nobody misses a chance to gossip. At one crowded table, four martial artists are passionately debating the upcoming Dragon and Phoenix tournament. One of them confidently declares. This year's tournament is going to be something special. Another immediately fires back. Obviously. Young Hero Lim of the Northern Heavenly family is taking the title. A third guy nearly spits out his drink. Not a chance. Don't tell me you've forgotten about young Hero Yang of the Southern Mountain Alliance. Meanwhile, the argument continues to escalate. At this rate, the tournament might start right there over a bowl of noodles. Just then. Creak. The inn's door slowly opens. A graceful figure steps inside. It's our waifu. The entire entrance suddenly feels quieter. Well. Almost. Because one random NPC is staring at her so hard you'd think she personally owed him money. Brother. Your food is getting cold. Focus. Looking around the packed inn, Cherian quietly says. I've never seen this place so crowded. It must be because of the tournament. Just then, one of the waiters notices her. His eyes widen instantly. Young Lady Zhong of the Righteous Sword Clan. What brings someone like you here all alone? With her usual calm smile, she replies. Oh. I simply thought I'd stop by for a quick drink. The poor waiter suddenly begins sweating bullets. Oh, drat. I'm terribly sorry, young lady. The only available room we have at the moment is the VIP room. He quickly straightens himself before gesturing respectfully. But that's no problem. Please. This way. The waiter gives Cherian a respectful smile before saying. I'll be sure to give Wuhan's finest beauty a special discount. You know what? The waiter has some pretty solid observational skills. Back at one of the nearby tables. A random martial artist overhears the comment. Wuhan's finest beauty. Another guy immediately turns his head. No wonder I couldn't stop staring. Within seconds, whispers begin spreading across the inn. So that's her. She really is beautiful. I heard she's from the Righteous Sword Clan. Meanwhile, our waifu can practically feel everyone's eyes on her. Inside her head, she's already questioning humanity. Who in the world came up with that ridiculous nickname? I'd never come here alone for a drink. But today has already been strange enough. The waiter gently slides open the VIP room door. Please, madam. Take whichever seat you like. As she steps inside, she quietly thinks. I just needed to get away from the Palm clan. And especially that weird guy. Fate, however, had other plans. Sitting comfortably at the table, surrounded by enough food to feed a small sect, is none other than our MC. Without even looking surprised, he calmly greets her. So. We meet again. Cherian's eyes instantly turn into those classic manga eyes. You know. The universal expression for. Why is this man everywhere I go? Our MC flashes a dangerously charming smile. If you were coming here anyway. We could have just come together. Smooth. Questionable. But smooth. Cherian lets out an awkward little laugh. What a strange day I'm having. Meanwhile, the poor waiter is just standing there in complete confusion. He's trying to figure out whether these two know each other. Or if Destiny personally booked today's VIP room. The cameraman slowly zooms in on our MC. He's casually tearing apart a poor roasted chicken leg. Rest in peace, little warrior. That chicken survived the kitchen. Only to lose the final battle here. He takes a bite as if he's discussing tomorrow's weather. By the way. How do I register for the tournament? When's the deadline? And only now do we finally notice. His table is absolutely overflowing with food. Bowls. Plates. Meat. Soup. If there were one more dish, the table would probably unlock a hidden achievement. Cherian stares at the mountain of food. Inside her head, one question echoes louder than anything else. Is this his first meal of the day? She finally asks. Why? Are you planning on entering the tournament? Our MC doesn't hesitate for even a second. Of course I am. Our MC casually leans back in his chair before saying. I bet the tournament is going to be absolutely packed with beautiful women. He points at himself with complete confidence. You see. I'm pretty popular with the ladies. Confidence level. Somewhere between future legend and professional liar. Still happily munching away, he continues. I've been traveling ever since I was 10. And wherever I went, I just couldn't keep the women away from me. Another bite. Another outrageous claim. Meanwhile, our waifu can only stare at him. Unbelievable. Inside her head, she's already having second thoughts. I didn't take him for such a mindless chatterbox. She can't help but compare him to the mysterious man she met only a little while ago. It's like he's a completely different person. Just when she thinks she's figured him out, our boy casually drops another sentence while chewing his food. Then I realized who the most beautiful woman in all of Jianghu really is. Cherian blinks in confusion. Who? Without the slightest hesitation, he smiles. My mother. Cherian freezes. Your mother. Our MC suddenly narrows his eyes. What? Are you trying to say my mother's too old to be beautiful? He stares directly into her eyes. The accusation is so absurd that Cherian's brain completely short-circuits. And no. That's not what I meant. A faint blush creeps onto her face. Then she immediately starts arguing with herself. Wait. Why am I getting flustered? I didn't even do anything wrong. Congratulations. She somehow lost an argument she never started. Our MC simply shrugs. Anyway. I'm actually pretty nervous about what's coming. And whenever I get nervous, I get hungry. As if to prove his point, he immediately reaches for another bite. Honestly, at this point I'm starting to think the restaurant should charge him rent. Cherian asks. You mean the tournament? Our MC shakes his head without a hint of doubt. No. I already know I'm going to win that. He says it so casually. Like he's announcing tomorrow's weather. What I'm worried about is conquering Hubei. That's my goal for this year. Cherian's eyes widen. Conquering Hubei. Our MC nods while reaching for yet another bite. It's going to take a lot of work. There's a lot to keep an eye on. It's times like these that I really work up an appetite. That poor plate never stood a chance. Cherian looks at him as if she's trying to decide whether he's a genius or completely insane. You want to win the tournament and conquer Hubei? You seriously need a reality check. Clack. The VIP room door suddenly slides open. A voice echoes from the entrance. I thought I recognized that voice. A figure slowly steps into the room. So. It really was you. Young Lady Zhang. Cherian immediately turns toward the newcomer. Her eyes widen in shock. And just like that, the peaceful meal officially comes to an end. The cameraman slowly shifts toward one very familiar face. And judging by that smug smile, you already know he's about to ruin everyone's mood. This charming specimen is Injial Jiang, the heir of the Center Palm clan. He strolls into the VIP room with all the confidence in the world before saying, "What a pleasure it is to see you." Following behind him is a young woman wearing a gentle smile. She replies, "Here." "Sure, why not? Meet Inoue Jiang, Injial's younger sister." Thankfully, she seems to have inherited the looks. Let's just hope the personality skipped a generation too. Injial's gaze slowly drifts toward Cherian. Unfortunately, not toward her face. With that same disgusting grin, he says, "I trust you've been well." Cherian. Cherian immediately feels his eyes crawling all over her. Inside her head. Ugh. There he goes again. Scanning my body like he's reading a martial arts manual. Her hand instinctively tightens around her chopsticks. I'd love nothing more than to punch him in the face. But I have to stay calm. Some people cultivate inner peace. Others cultivate the incredible ability to tolerate Injial. Meanwhile, completely ignoring the awkward tension, our MC continues eating. One bite. Then another. It's almost impressive how little he cares. Ingial finally notices him. Ah. What do we have here? He watches our MC continue devouring his meal without even acknowledging his existence. That tiny crack. You can almost hear Ingial's ego breaking. I didn't realize we had company. Cherian quietly watches the scene unfold. She already has a bad feeling about where this is going. Without another word, Ingial reaches into his pocket. He pulls out a single gold coin. Then, clink. He casually tosses it onto the plate our MC is eating from. The sound echoes through the silent room. For the first time since this conversation began, our MC stops eating. Ingial smirks with complete satisfaction. That's for your meal. Then, wearing the kind of smile that makes you want to lock your wallet and your patience away, he continues. If you're finished, would you mind giving us some privacy? The room falls silent. Our MC slowly lifts his head. His eyes finally meet Ingial's. Yeah. He probably should have let the man finish his chicken.
So the story continues. This creepy-looking dude casually walks over and throws a few coins onto our protagonist's table, landing right next to his food. Our MC doesn't even bother looking impressed. He simply glances at the coins for a second, hums to himself, and says, that's not going to be enough. Great sense of humor, my guy. The creepy dude freezes for a second before replying in complete confusion. What? Meanwhile, our protagonist calmly points at the empty plates on his table with his chopsticks and says, especially since I still have more food coming, so yeah, that's nowhere near enough. Bro is an absolute professional rage baiter. Hearing that, the creepy guy's expression instantly darkens. He glares straight at our MC and says, listen, you'd better disappear from here if you know what's good for you. But our protagonist couldn't look less interested. As the creepy dude continues staring at him, his eyes suddenly land on the two massive swords resting beside our MC. His expression changes. Ah, so you're a martial artist. That explains the bravado. Then, with a smug grin, he slowly steps closer to the swords. Those are some pretty big swords you've got there. Mind if I take a look? And just like that, this side character decides to embarrass himself once again. He reaches down, grabs one of the swords with confidence, and tries to lift it. Nothing. The sword doesn't even move. He pulls harder. Still nothing. A few seconds later, the dude is already sweating. Veins are popping out. His face is turning red. But that sword refuses to budge. Just like our protagonist. The guy's eyes widen in disbelief. Inside his head he's panicking. Why isn't this thing moving? And why is it so unbelievably heavy? At this point, any normal person would have accepted defeat. But unfortunately, his pride has already signed him up for another round of public humiliation. He grits his teeth and thinks, if I give up now, I'll never live this shame down. Determined to save what little dignity he has left, he tightens his grip around the sword. Then he declares, I'll lift it, even if I have to use my internal energy. Yep. Time to activate the magical anime power-up. The guy begins circulating his inner energy through his body, pouring every ounce of strength he has into lifting the sword. He strains. He roars. He gives it absolutely everything. And congratulations. After using all that power, he manages to move the sword. About an inch. That's it. An entire anime power-up. For 1 inch. Trying to pretend that wasn't a complete disaster, he forces out a smug smile while gasping for air. Yeah, this sword is above my level to lift. Then he quickly looks at our protagonist and says, it must be a practice sword for weight training. Meanwhile, he's practically dying from exhaustion. His breathing is so heavy you'd think he just finished running a marathon. Of course, his loyal lackeys immediately jump in to protect their boss's ego. Ah, so it's just for training. Another one instantly adds. Right. Haha, that's what I thought too. Yeah. Nice save, guys. Meanwhile, the creepy dude's sister is standing there silently, watching this entire second-hand embarrassment unfold before her eyes. And our protagonist? He's just sitting there, calmly enjoying his meal, watching the whole circus with a straight face while casually devouring his food. Finally, after finishing another bite, our MC decides to stand up. He casually reaches over, grabs the gigantic sword straight out of the side character's hands like it weighs absolutely nothing, looks at him with a calm smile and says, "Nope. It's not a practice sword." The side character can only stare at him in complete disbelief, wondering what kind of monster he's standing in front of. After watching his pride get completely shattered, this creepy dude still refuses to accept reality. He immediately points at our protagonist and shouts, "Liar. That's obviously a training sword." Without changing his expression even a little, our MC calmly replies, "Nope, it's just a regular saber." And just like that, these two start arguing over a sword like people arguing over who's the GOAT. It's basically one of those endless debates where nobody changes their mind. Our MC is like, "You're wrong. I'm right." Meanwhile, this creepy dude keeps glaring at him with an irritated look while grinding his teeth so hard they might crack. Finally, he snaps, "Do you really think I'm in the mood to play these childish games with you?" As he says that, a strange blue aura begins gathering around his hand. Yep. Looks like someone has officially run out of arguments. When logic fails, violence becomes plan B. Just before things can escalate, our beautiful waifu suddenly steps in between them. With a calm but commanding voice, she says, "That's enough. We're in a restaurant." Everyone immediately goes silent. Even the creepy dude pauses for a second. Meanwhile, our protagonist isn't even paying attention to the argument anymore. The second she stepped in, bro completely zoned out. He's just standing there admiring her beauty and probably planning an entire future together after one conversation. Marriage. Kids. Grandchildren. Bro skipped about 50 chapters ahead. The customers around them can only stare in shock as this bizarre scene unfolds right in the middle of the restaurant. Then, the creepy dude suddenly lets out a laugh. Ha! A strange smile spreads across his face. He looks directly at our waifu and says, "That fiery look in your eyes. It reminds me of something." Then, with way more confidence than he should have, he reaches out and grabs her arm. Our waifu freezes in complete disbelief. The guy smiles even wider and says, "Since we're entering the Dragon and Phoenix tournament as partners anyway." He slowly leans closer. "I wouldn't mind getting to know each other a little better." Yeah. That expression on his face tells you exactly what kind of garbage this guy is. Our waifu immediately yanks her arm out of his grip. Without hesitating, she says, "Sorry. Maybe another time. I've already decided to enter the tournament with someone else." The creepy dude's fake smile instantly disappears. His face twists into pure annoyance. What? And why? Our waifu clenches her fist before looking him straight in the eyes. Then she finally says what everyone has been thinking. "Because I think using your family's status to force people into doing what you want is cheap and despicable." Finally, someone actually said it to his face. Unfortunately, judging by the look on his face, he did not appreciate the honesty. After a moment of silence, he takes a deep breath and asks, "Fine. Then who exactly is your partner?" Our waifu suddenly goes quiet. She opens her mouth, but no words come out. She actually doesn't know what to say. She looks around, desperately trying to think of someone. Anyone. Then, before the awkward silence can get any worse, our protagonist casually steps forward. Without a single ounce of hesitation, he points at himself and says, "Obviously. It's me. I'm her partner." Both of them immediately turn toward him. Their faces are filled with complete confusion. The creepy dude just stares at him in absolute disbelief. Meanwhile, our MC casually rests one arm on his massive saber like the coolest guy in the room and confidently says, "We're teaming up for the tournament." The restaurant falls completely silent. The creepy dude can only mutter, "What?" Everyone nearby is left deep in thought. Some are confused. Some are shocked. Others are probably wondering whether our protagonist is incredibly brave or completely insane. Then suddenly, someone else steps forward. Turns out, it's the creepy dude's stepsister. She walks right up to our protagonist and says, "Listen. Do you even know who you're talking to right now?" Our protagonist doesn't look nervous. He doesn't look intimidated. In fact, he doesn't seem to care at all. With the calmest expression imaginable, he simply replies, "No clue." Then he looks her straight in the eyes and asks, "But do you know who I am?" Now that's one cold introduction. The woman lets out a mocking smirk before answering with a single word. "Nope." I can't help but smile. There are only two ways people react when they come across something they don't understand, I say calmly as everyone in the restaurant turns their attention toward us. They either look down on it, or they fear it. The entire room falls silent. I continue without breaking eye contact. But somehow, you want both. A grin spreads across my face. You look down on me because you don't know who I am. At the same time, you're trying to make me fear you. I shrug. And that's what I call a double standard. I tilt my head slightly. Don't you agree? The beautiful woman watches me carefully. Instead of getting angry, her eyes narrow with curiosity. For a brief moment, she almost looks impressed. But only for a moment. Then she suddenly bursts into laughter. "What an interesting way of looking at things," she says with a smile. "Would you really stand by those words?" Before I can answer, her brother interrupts. "It seems your tongue never gets tired." I chuckle. I've always had a big appetite. Eating a lot keeps my tongue in excellent shape. The restaurant goes dead quiet. The creep's face instantly darkens. Apparently, he takes that as a personal insult. Crack. His fingers dig into the wooden table, leaving deep cracks across its surface. Instead of panicking, I casually glance at the damaged table. Careful. I point at my untouched meal. You'd better not spill my food. The veins on his forehead bulge. His eyes burn with rage as he glares at me. Everyone braces themselves. Surely this is where the fight begins. The tension reaches its peak. Boom. Nothing. To everyone's surprise, he simply clicks his tongue in frustration, yanks on his shirt, turns around, and starts walking toward the exit. Have it your way. I watch him leave while calmly taking another bite of my food. Just before stepping outside, he stops. Without looking back completely, he turns his head just enough for one eye to meet mine. "I'll see you at the Dragon and Phoenix tournament." His voice carries a clear threat. Then he walks away. His followers quickly trail behind him as they leave the restaurant. But before disappearing, his strangely obsessed sister glances back at me. Her eyes practically scream. "I will make you mine." Yeah. Definitely not creepy at all. I stare right back into her eyes without showing the slightest reaction. For a few seconds, neither of us looks away. Then the second beauty flashes me a gentle smile. "See you next time." With that, the entire group finally leaves. The restaurant instantly feels much quieter. Standing beside the table, my companion watches the closed entrance with a troubled expression. She gulps. A bead of sweat slowly slides down her cheek. This is bad. She remembers the terrifying pressure that creep released earlier. Then she turns toward me. Knowing Injial. This idiot is in serious danger now. Meanwhile, I'm as relaxed as ever. So, I casually wipe my mouth before looking at her. "What do you say? Let's actually enter the tournament together. I don't mind adjusting my plans." She blinks. "Adjusting your plans? I thought you were entering the tournament anyway." I nod. "Yeah. Which is exactly why I have to adjust my plans." Her eyes go wide. Wait. Don't tell me. You were planning to enter the Heavenly Dragon tournament all along. Of course. I answer so casually that it almost sounds obvious. She stares at me with an expression that mixes confusion, disbelief, and complete exhaustion. Right. If you're really as strong as you claim. Then why didn't you just beat the living crap out of that creep back there? I shrug as if the answer couldn't be simpler. I don't fight kids. She immediately rolls her eyes before letting out an annoyed laugh. Yeah, sure. And I'm sure you've got about a million other excuses ready too. I simply smile. After all, sometimes the greatest victory isn't defeating your opponent. It's making them walk away furious while you finish your meal in peace. I keep a completely serious expression. The Jianghu being rotten has nothing to do with kids. The words leave my mouth so naturally that my companion freezes. She stares at me in disbelief. That look on his face. He's actually serious. For a second, she can't even tell if I'm joking anymore. Meanwhile, in the middle of the bustling marketplace, one of that creep's lackeys scratches his head before grinning. I think young Lady Jiang really likes you, sir. Another lackey eagerly nods. It's obvious. She's just trying to make you jealous. Nah. The first guy immediately shakes his head. I don't think that's it. The second lackey shrugs. Either way, she can't be serious about winning the Dragon and Phoenix tournament. He bursts into laughter. Not if she's teaming up with that clown from the restaurant. The group starts laughing together. But their boss doesn't laugh. Not even a little. Instead, his expression grows darker. A clown. His mind flashes back to the restaurant. More specifically, to the sword. That wasn't a weapon someone could casually swing around like that. His eyes narrow. Just, who is that guy? Then another memory appears. The woman who rejected him. That impertinent wench. Who does she think she is? Rejecting me. His fists slowly clench. I'll make both of them regret humiliating me today. Elsewhere. Far away from the noisy marketplace. At the residence of the Righteous Sword clan. Inside a quiet room, several family members sit around a table with tense expressions. Cherion's older sister breaks the silence. Cherion completely rejected young hero Jiang's proposal. She sounds both shocked and worried. They're saying he's causing a huge scene at a tavern right now. Her father raises an eyebrow. She really rejected him. An elderly woman calmly takes a sip of tea before speaking. Perhaps that isn't such a bad thing. I've heard quite a few unpleasant rumors about young hero Jiang. She is Su Aeon, the respected lady of the Righteous Sword clan. Cherion's sister frowns. But mother, there's no telling what he'll do next. Su Aeon gently shakes her head. Cherion is still so young. We can't ask her to sacrifice her happiness just for the sake of the family. The room falls silent. Between the two women, Cherion's father quietly lets out a long sigh. This isn't only about our clan anymore. He could start harassing Cherion herself. His expression grows heavy with guilt. It's all because I wasn't strong enough. My entire family is paying the price. The man sitting silently at the table is Ichujong, the lord of the Righteous Sword clan. Ichujong lowers his head in frustration. If only I had mastered the Scarlet Thread sword technique. None of this would have happened. My family wouldn't be trapped in this mess. A heavy silence fills the room. Cherion's older sister finally speaks. In any case, if those rumors are true, we have a serious problem on our hands. She immediately stands up. We have to find Cherion before young hero Jiang does. Just as everyone is about to rush out, a calm voice comes from the entrance. No need. Every head in the room instantly turns toward the door. Standing there is Cherion herself. Yep. Our waifu has arrived. And no. Before your imagination starts running wild, she isn't here to announce she's carrying my child. She simply looks at her family and says, "It's all true." Her older sister's eyes widen. Cherion. She rushes over in relief. Thank goodness you're safe. We were so worried about you. Then she suddenly notices the person standing behind her. Wait. Who's that guy? Everyone's gaze shifts toward me. I simply stand there with a friendly smile like I definitely haven't been causing chaos all day. Cherian hesitates for a brief moment. He is. She takes a small breath before finishing her sentence. My partner for the Dragon and Phoenix tournament. Silence. Complete. Absolute. Silence. Then. Wayot. The entire room explodes in shock. One person nearly drops their teacup. Another looks like their soul just left their body. Even Grandma Su Aeon raises an eyebrow. Well. Since everyone's already staring at me anyway, I might as well introduce myself. I step forward with a confident smile. Smack. I press one fist into my open palm and respectfully bow toward the family. It's a pleasure to meet you all. My name is Injial Jeek. The room somehow becomes even quieter. Yeah. This family dinner is off to a fantastic start. And that's it for this chapter. If you enjoyed the recap, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next part. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.